Hi, everybody. Welcome to NAUI's Dive Team Report. I'm your host, Greg Martin. Gulf World Marine Institute, it's affiliated with Gulf Marine Park, and I'm sure they'll correct me on anything I say that's wrong here, is based out of Panama City Beach, Florida, and recently received a NAUI EEA. Those of you that don't know what that is, that's an Environmental Achievement Award for 2017. And they do some great work with sea turtles. And I'm excited about hearing about what they do, the stranding operations and so forth. Ron Hardy is the chairman, and he joins us on the podcast. Welcome, Ron.
Thank you.
Well, first off, congratulations on the award. And I'd like to know a little bit about what Gulf Marine Institute does.
Yeah, that's Gulf World Marine Institute. And our only purpose is to help national marine fisheries and fish and wildlife in their national programs with stranded animals and animal events in the Gulf of Mexico here off North Florida in Panama City Beach. So we've been doing that through Gulf World Marine Park for 30, 40 years or longer. And a few years ago, we started the nonprofit, which of course has to be a totally separate organization to function and give the public and everybody more opportunity to participate and help. And so that's what we've done. And of course, being a 501c3 gives us a lot of advantages to get help from places we might not be able to get it normally. But we are a standalone organization dedicated strictly to the rescue and rehabilitation of animals, turtles and marine mammals along the Gulf of Mexico is our assigned area from national marine fisheries and from Florida Fish and Wildlife.
So talk to me, for those that don't know what problems are with sea turtles and getting stranded. Explain that just a little bit to the listeners.
Well, all of the stranding program is based on the fact that we'll call them animals because, dolphins, we refer to those as marine mammals, and turtles are not marine mammals, they're marine animals. But any animal out there is just like humans. We get old, we get sick, some die at a young age, some die of old age, and when they get sick, regardless whether they're turtles or dolphins, we usually find a way to get them. Dolphins will strand themselves when they get sick, because if they don't, they get so weak till they'll just sink and drown, and for some reason they have the ability to know that if you get to shallow water, they'll prop up and get a few more breaths. So usually when we get a dolphin, if it's strictly from being sick, yes, he's very sick. So we start when they're in really bad shape. Turtles, the same thing with them. But the real issue with the turtles that you can hear a lot about is all the time is the fact that the turtles do what's called cold strand. And cold strand means if they happen to get caught in water that's a certain temperature, that their body can't stand it. That's what you just referred to a while ago. We just had a cold stun stranding here in the Panhandle, and we had over 1,200 sea turtles here at one time, because the first thing we have to do is warm those guys up. And if we can warm them quick enough, if they haven't been stunned too long, it's usually a pretty short time that we can release them in deeper water and release them in places where they won't get caught in that cold weather again. So that's just an overview of what strandings is and how we get strandings. And our number one purpose in the strandings, of course, is to release them. And whether it be turtles or dolphins, either one, sometimes you get an animal that, for example, that needs constant medication, just like humans do. And if we do that, then the national marine fisheries will consider them non-releasable. And the same thing with turtles. The other thing, and which is greater with turtles than with dolphins, but happens in both, is the more humans in the past 50 years have used the oceans and the beaches, and a number of boats and activities and all that stuff, jet skis and everything, the human interaction has become a serious issue. The number of turtles we get that's struck by boats or caught fishing off our piers, they got our number memorized down on the pier because a turtle gets a hook in it. Luckily, the folks always want to help. They call us. We'll take the turtle. We'll get the hook out. We'll get it back. We'll go release it. So I think, between the natural things of the turtles like cold sun and the illnesses that they're all going to get regardless, and the human interaction. That's usually the biggest three reasons that we'll see any of the animals get involved in the stranding process.
So how many people do you have on staff with the Gulf World Marine Institute? I'm assuming there's a lot of volunteer work that goes into this as well.
Yeah, that's correct. Now, on staff, if you're talking about on staff that gets some type of salary, there's three. We have one medical staff, we have our director, and have our stranding coordinator. All the rest are volunteers, and yes, you're absolutely right. We have a lot of great volunteers, and without them, we couldn't do anything. So we really just can't say enough about the quality of work that these volunteers do. We had some with us a long time, and I hate to say that, but some of them know more about it than I do at this point. So we're really proud to have them.
In a particular year, how many different opportunities do you have to get at? And I don't like using the word opportunities, but how many different times do you get called out? I mean, whether it's human intervention or it's a stranding.
Well, there's one other thing that we need to put in there besides that list with the stranding, and that is death. Because a lot of times if a dolphin dies for any reason, old age, disease gets him, and the same thing with turtle. So we also are responsible by the federal agencies to go address an animal that has died, and we have to do a lot of work. We take the animal, we bring it in, we do necropsies, we send a lot of samples off to the different federal agencies so that they can do their scientific work with it. So between all of that, we get a lot of animals. On an average year, without counting cold stuns, probably about 50 turtles a year, and marine mammals is probably an average of 15 to 20 a year.
So you keep pretty busy. Unfortunately, you keep pretty busy.
Yeah, and too, I guess I shouldn't give the turtles all the credit for being in numbers, because National Marine Fisheries has a thing called an unusual mortality event. That's when you have a large die-off of animals. And if you remember, there's one in the Atlantic Ocean not long ago that had over 3, and I think they had about that many in the past 2 or 3 years down in South Florida. And either us or another stranding network in that area has to deal with every one of those dolphins to help try to get the stuff necessary for them, the samples necessary for them to determine what might have happened. And we've had 64 dolphins up here in a mass stranding, and several mass strandings of 8, 10, 12 animals. So the turtle, I call that a mass stranding with turtles, and you got 1,200, but sometimes the dolphins will do the same thing to you. So you have to add all that into that activity that you and I just talked about.
Let me ask you this, Ron. Being a 501c3, obviously money can be an issue. How can people help?
Two things: that when we really have a stranding, we have an account that they can actually go to and buy some supplies for us. That's usually during each individual stranding, and the other is just simply a tax donation to the operation of our activity here at Gulf World Marine Institute. Amazon Wishlist is the place that now and then we have a wish list on there. When we have a stranding, we need a lot of everything. With 1,200 turtles, we needed a lot of everything. Like if you want to make a donation, you can go to our website, or if you want to do what's called Adopt a Turtle, which makes you feel good and you get some things for it, you can go there too. So
you mentioned the Amazon thing. That's an interesting thing, because it's something that a lot of people don't realize, is that organizations can create a wish list on an Amazon account. And so is that what you're talking about here?
Yeah, and when we have a stranding, we'll put on our website. A lot of folks just follow our website, and we keep it updated, and they can see what animals are being rehabilitated, and they can go in there and get the Amazon address, or if they want to make a donation or adopt a turtle, they can just go to the website and get all of them. Always they can follow us on Facebook and learn just about everything through our Facebook too.
Sure. Now, you mentioned the website. What is the address?
Okay, it's GWMI, initial for Gulf World Marine Institute.info.
GWMI.info. All right. We'll make sure that people get that. And you mentioned Facebook, so we can get people over to your Facebook page as well. And do you have anything going on right now, or are we kind of quiet?
Well, we're kind of quiet. We just released the rest of the releasable turtles last week, and I think we've got about 30 that have to have medical. That, as I said, some percentage are always sick and had problems. So we're doing medical work on those to get them so we can release them, and hopefully very shortly we can release those also.
If you're interested in learning more about dolphins and turtles and whatever else happens to have need of medical attention or a stranding, be sure and check out Gulf World Marine Institute, gwmi.info.info. So be sure and also check out their Facebook page. Ron, I appreciate your time, and again, congratulations on the award from NAUI.
I'd just like to say a little bit about that. Remember, that's Gulf World Marine Institute to your listeners. But I just want to say that was a big shock to us when our local board of directors said that we had been submitted to do that. And I said, why? And he said, we and he had watched us all these years and what we do for the animals and the environment and a lot of environmental stuff we get involved in. And so I'm really proud of that, but not near as proud as I was shocked and proud of the fact when we were chosen to receive the award. So from your standpoint, from NAUI, kudos to you guys for doing that for us or anybody else that gets it and does that type of work with the environment. And certainly we'll say how much we appreciate what NAUI has done in considering and awarding us this award. It's hanging proudly right in front of us.
All right. Well, we're always looking for great people out there that do great things, and we appreciate the work that you guys are doing. So thank you very much, Ron.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Of course, if you have an interest in learning to dive or to take an advanced scuba class, perhaps, be sure and check out NAUI.org, NAUI.org, or your local NAUI dive shop. And that's this episode of NAUI's Dive Team Report. I'm Greg Martin. Thank you for listening. I'll see you underwater.